Mike. Here now, Senator Mike Lee, who spoke out in opposition today with other members of the Congressional Freedom Caucus. Senator, good to see you tonight.
Good to be with you.
Okay, so just to be clear, are you for repeal but not yet replace? Where are you on that?
I'm for repeal. Look, we've been waiting for 7 years for the opportunity to repeal Obamacare. We waited for the election in 2010 where we got the majority in the House, in 2014 where we got the majority in the Senate, in 2016 where we've now got a Republican in the White House as a result of that election. This is not the repeal bill that we've been waiting for all these years. This is a huge opportunity that's been missed, and it's a step in the wrong direction. What we need to do is repeal the bill and then bring about an iterative, step-by-step process, one in which we can put the American consumer, the patients and doctors, back in charge of their own health care decisions rather than having them made by government bureaucrats in Washington.
You know there's been immense pressure from those on the right out there who say, listen, we elected you to do this. President Trump went around campaigning on this. We want it done right now. So is it your sense that the GOP leadership that crafted this new bill feel like it's the best way forward? Do you think they're under pressure to act quickly and maybe they're moving ahead in a way that you think is not the best policy? Or do you think that they're very sensitive to the criticism that, hey, yeah, we all want this repeal, those on the right, but, you know, as far as moving ahead with the replacement, we're not quite ready for that?
I don't work for them, and I'm not going to try to speak for them. What I will tell you is what I'm for and what I think the American people who elected us, who elected Republicans all over the country, want, and that is for us to actually repeal Obamacare. They want this law repealed, and that's what we want to do. We passed a bill only about 15 months ago in which all the Republicans in the House and in the Senate voted for it. We put it on President Obama's desk. President Obama vetoed it. We then promised, look, if you give Republicans a chance to govern, we'll pass the same thing. We'll get it signed into law. That's what we need to do.
Well, you know the folks who look at this and say repeal first or repeal only at this point say you're going to leave millions without a plan. There's going to be no direction. If we put off the replacement part of this, it's going to be just like all the funding cliffs that we get to. It won't get done on time, and we're going to have another crisis when we get to this end of the period where we're supposed to have the replacement in place. It's bad PR for the GOP if it looks like millions of people are going to be left with nothing.
Shannon, the problem with that talking point is that it's false. It ignores the fact that there's a 2-year delayed implementation provision in the repeal bill that would give us more than enough time that we need to figure out what comes next under Obamacare. The other problem with that talking point is that it basically plays into a similar mindset that Nancy Pelosi used 7 years ago when Obamacare was passed, when she famously, or infamously by now, said, in essence, you've got to pass this thing to find out what's in it. Look, what we want is to avoid the same mistakes that were made when the Affordable Care Act was passed into law, when it was crafted by a small handful of lawmakers and staff behind closed doors, brought forward, rushed through without adequate input from the American people in this 2,700-page comprehensive bill. I'd rather see us repeal in one fell swoop and then move forward with a step-by-step process to bring about the reforms we need.
All right. Do you have any real hope, just yes or no, that you'll be able to stop this freight train that's now moving?
I have every hope that we can do it if the American people will engage, and if the American people will say, do what you promised to do, repeal Obamacare.
Okay. Senator Lee, good to see you.